I mean, this is where the conversation gets kind of goofy right now because
Um,
you got Steve Bannon out there saying Trump's running in 2028, that he will go for a third term. And there are people who are defending that and thinking that, yeah. And
Lindsey
from what I've
Graham.
seen from today's Republican Party, they will do it. They will do it. They don't have the fortitude to stand up. They are fine with the shredding of the Constitution, frankly, if it's shredded on their terms and rewritten by their hand. That's what we've seen from the Republican Party as every check and balance norm gets thrown out the door right now. So, like, if it's Donald Trump in 2028, yeah, you're going to need more than Andy Bashir to beat that, in my opinion.
So let's just talk about that for a second. Do you really think that to change the Constitution, you have to have 2/3 of the states ratify it? Do you think that would happen? 1. 2, do you think that it's not like the president can just decide? You would have to do a lot of legwork. Look what happened during women's rights issues. I mean, this is like the abortion issue. I mean, it's really, really hard to
I
do.
think that if Donald Trump says, I'm running again and I dare you not to put my name on the ballot, Republican secretaries of state, I think that they do it.
You have to vote. You have to vote in these states. You can't just put your name. I mean, you just can't. I mean, this is like not,
Well,
this is
name
something.
me a Republican secretary of state in a red state that wouldn't print the ballot with his name on it if he says, I'm running.
Well,
And it
first of
wouldn't
all,
be it
this
wouldn't
is
be constitutional, he wouldn't be
no,
able
Who
I
to do
agree,
it.
cares?
and
Who's going
I
to stop it? Who is going to stop it?
let me
Who cares
just
about the Constitution? It's not
let me just
constitutional to do half the shit they're
let me
doing. It's not
interject here.
stopping them.
Let me interject here. This is all assuming, okay? I agree. If Donald Trump has anywhere close to the approval rating that he has now, which is even though it's not 50%, he's had somewhat of a honeymoon. It's the highest it's ever been in the 4.5 years or whatever that he's been in office. But that's assuming that he's going to have that in 4 years. I
Right.
think my prediction is the one area where 80% of even Republicans don't want him to go is to defy a Supreme Court order. And I think we are heading down that road. And I think it's going to be very hard for him to resist that. And once that happens, I think that's going to be the watershed event in terms of what changes popularity. And I also believe that they're making a huge mistake by focusing too much on the social issues and not focusing enough on the economy and prices, which is frankly why people elected him. And even the Ben Shapiro's of the world acknowledge the biggest threat to Trump's success is an economic downturn. And I think we're very likely to get there with the tariffs and just the wrecking ball approach to everything and all these jobs that are being lost and all that. So I think they're doing almost everything wrong in terms of not going through Congress and making it legal in a lot of areas. So I think that it's going to blow up at some point. And I would only agree. I agree with Kurt that you're right. That these milk toast attorneys generals and secretaries of state are going to bend to Trump's will, but the public will is what he would need to make it to pull it off. And I don't think that's going to be there.
And I
Well, he
think
needs the
people are gonna
the,
be
the public
tired.
will of half the country, not the entire country. If his approval rating within the Republican Party is over 80%, he can do it.
Yeah, but there's enough of these voters in not in Georgia and Arizona and really every swing state. He can't lose the 7 swing states and win, and the 2030 census won't have taken effect by then. So there'll be
He doesn't
enough.
need that though.
No,
The
there'll
the
be enough
point
people
is
in
the point
Republican
is
states.
he will run and he will be on the bat. Like the question is,
I
can
agree.
he be the question is, can he be the Republican nominee? The answer is yes, he can,
I
because there's
agree, but
not
I
enough
mean,
Republicans who would stop him.
if
We're
that
gonna have a
happens,
vote on this
there are
one,
enough
Kurt.
people in swing states who would not support him. Again, it was only
Depends on who the Democrats run
200,000
against. It
voters
depends
that
on who the
won.
Democrats run. If the Democrats were to run an uninspiring candidate who doesn't motivate them to get off their butts, yeah, he could win.
No, we
Well,
can't. We don't need
again,
illegals.
everything has to fall in place. About 5 things have to happen that I think that at least 3 of them are pretty unlikely. So, yes,
Well,
you're right.
we have
Everything
said that
falls
about
in
Donald
place.
Trump before, and here he is serving his second term.
I'm not
You know,
saying that it's not possible. I'm just saying it's highly improbable. That's all I'm saying. So
I
go ahead.
also think that it will be interesting to see because I know in our last episode we were talking about the heir apparent. I think it's going to be interesting to see how Vance is still the heir apparent 2.5 years from now, just in regards to how he gets along with the president.
He's
And
not
some
the heir apparent. Donald Trump
he's
Jr. is
not.
the heir apparent.
I don't think so. I
And
don't think
Oh,
Donald
it's good.
Trump Jr.
Yeah.
is not electable.
yeah.
Donald Trump, and it's like these people, first of all, cults don't survive the demise of their leaders. And the fact that Trump is not going to run, look what happened in 2020. The fact that that the fact once he lost, people were like, oh well, and then he gets back on the ballot. But I think that Donald Trump Jr. is not electable. And I also tell my Democratic friends, don't despair. Who would have thought of Bill Clinton in 1989? Who would have thought of Barack Obama in 2005? There'll be people that'll come up from the woodwork. The Democrats have a strong bench. There's a lot of young people. So I think there'll be a nominee, very likely one that we haven't talked about, who will come and be the strongest
And
choice.
Dave,